Okay, so today we're gonna talk about chakra. Not this one. Yeah, the cool one. Okay, so the chakra is a special energy what used in a Naruto universe. This energy can be concentrated in a chakra points. The chakra points located very close to the organs. They concentrate it and focus the chakra in your body until you're gonna use it. To create chakra from your chakra points, you have to use your own stamina. When you do so, you have to use your chakra what you just created immediately to ninjutsu or genjutsu. But if you create extra chakra, it's just gonna waste. Today I wanna talk about ninjutsu. To create a ninjutsu, you need 4 basic things. First one is a body or stamina. The second thing is mind, or as I call it, will. Next thing is a hand seal. Hand seal is some kind of password to every jutsu. And finally, to perform a single jutsu, especially a ninjutsu, the basic level what you need is the element. Every human in this universe have a specific element, like fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water. We already know every element has a relationship, like fire beats wind, wind beats lightning, lightning beats earth, earth beats water, water beats fire. But what if we have situation like fire versus lightning, or lightning versus water, or earth versus wind? Who would win? In this case, I think there is second circle of the relationship between elements. Water beats wind, wind beats earth, lightning beats water, earth beats fire, fire beats lightning. We're gonna start with fire. Fire is weak against water and earth, strong against wind and lightning. Can be combined with wind style and lightning style. The first fire style jutsu what you're gonna see in a game is of course the fire style fireball jutsu. On my personal opinion, Itachi's fireball was executed more strikingly, because it has size and speed like a normal jutsu. Unlike Sasuke fireball is, I think, too small and too fast for a fireball jutsu. Now let's see next example. War Mask Tobi and regular Orange Mask Tobi is so skilled in this jutsu what can execute 2 fireball at once. Or if it's War Mask Tobi in his special awakening, he can use a 4 fireball in mere seconds. Fireball is a long range attack, but it have a really low chasing ability. Fireball can even hit a target in mid-air. Using a fireball allow you to stop opponent would decide to use chakra dash. By hitting the target, fireball actually push it away from you. But even if fireball is so strong and almost perfect jutsu, it's still easy to dodge. Oh, by the way, did I the only one who think that Part 1 Sasuke is more skilled in this jutsu than Part 2? No? Okay. As you may see previously, when I showcasing Tobi War and regular Tobi, double fireball jutsu, they have a large minus. This jutsu, both of the fireball, can hit opponent only when he's guarding. The more perfect execution of this jutsu I see in a fire style of Tenten. The second jutsu for fire style what I wanted to suggest is Dragon Flame Jutsu. As you may see on a picture, when this jutsu connected, it's sent to your opponent up. Basically, is a fire style fireball, but it's going up to the ground. This why I suggest that this jutsu could not be executed on water, or should stop when it's touched. As you may see, when you play a strong free, when you use this jutsu, you clearly can notice that it have more chasing abilities than fireball, and can hit even a running opponent. Kakuzu's fire style, when he's awakening, is really similar to the Dragon Flame Bomb, but it can hit even a laying down opponent, and I think it's pretty logical. The next jutsu is of course fire style Phoenix Flower Jutsu. The main purpose of this jutsu is of course not to hit your opponent too hard, because every single hit from these small fireballs will deal less damage when even charging kunais. The point of this jutsu is actually to block a single strong jutsu and hit your opponent off guard. This jutsu was perfectly executed in a Kakuzu male fire style jutsu, including 8 fireballs. It can block and hit opponent even like Toby when he uses his special awakening. But even 8 attacks, it's not maximum for this jutsu. Actually, Sasori Awakening can hit even more with his jutsu. Yeah, but they not always connect. If you block, of course, your guard will be blocked in seconds. Okay, now I'm not really sure about Yugutani Awakening form, the two tails, male shuriken and charged shuriken fire style. But since it's a multiple attacks and it can be used fast enough, I place it here. But it actually can be a fireball jutsu as well. The next fire style jutsu was actually based on fire style what Asuma used, fire style Burning Ash. It's actually fire style what hits a big area in a one blow. These jutsu have two purposes. First, creating a barricade to protect yourself from a chakra dashes, or combos, or long range combos, or shurikens. And the second meaning is to block other ninjutsu. It's actually pretty effective against long range attacks. In Storm 3, this jutsu become actually more fire style looking in Hands of Madara. Just look at this, it's just a little fire hell on earth from a single person. You're gonna hate it in a few seconds actually. This jutsu is perfect to the close combat, especially in Hands of Asuma, because if your opponent gonna substitute in a wrong time, when you perfectly execute this jutsu and chakra dash on you again, he can still be hit with this jutsu. The next good variation of this jutsu you can see in Kankuro Awakening. It's actually OP as well. The last fire style jutsu, what I think is Dragon Jutsu, what Sasuke uses. I think what this jutsu should have long charge time, long calm down, and great damage. As like you can see. The second element of nature, what I gonna showcasing, is wind. Just like a fire style, wind jutsu or ninjutsu can be executed almost anywhere. It's just a matter of space between you and opponent. Wind is weak against fire and water, strong against lightning and earth, and can be combined with lightning and earth. The first jutsu of this element, what I gonna showcase, I call it Wind Slash. As you may see, many characters in a Storm series use this jutsu more than once. This actually compensated the low chasing ability of this jutsu and low damage from one hit. And if you use this jutsu like Danzo in his awakening or Tamori in her middle combo, you're gonna take a multiple hits on your opponent, and this become really hard to dodge for them. The second wind style jutsu is, like Danzo called it, Vacuum Gauge Barrage, or as I preferred, Wind Wall. The purpose of jutsu is simple. It's a large area long range attack to hit your opponent multiple times. The perfect execution of this jutsu I see in a might guy Huadora. And try to say me what is not looks like a wind style. This jutsu, unlike fire style fireball jutsu, is not that easy to dodge. The main purpose of this jutsu to keep your opponent away from you and take a big damage from a one hit. As I say before, the wind style ninjutsu have no limitation in area to use it, so it's become quite handy in a battle to use the wind style, because your attacks would not be blockaded by earth or water, or lack of it. The third wind style jutsu what I choose is vacuum bullets, or wind style bullets. The purpose of this jutsu is to take a multiple hits on your opponent. And the second meaning of this jutsu is to counterattack a long-range large ninjutsu. Oh, yes, I do understand this jutsu double line fist what Hinata use is a chakra sharpness technique. But seize my point, it do look like a wind style, and many Hyuga's technique look like a wind style. So I gonna put it here, and because it's too small for, I don't know, wind style wind gate, I put it in a wind style vacuum bullets. Many Jinchuriki in the awakening actually use a shuriken and charged shuriken jutsu, what looks like tool like a wind style. I think to make a perfect sense, this jutsu as the lowest state of it can make only 3 bullets at once as a lowest state. Okay, one more thing before we continue. I do hate Rasengans in any form, in any Storm game. I do hate them. This why this is be the only Rasengan type with wind style mini Rasen shurikens what would be in this video ever, because I do hate them since the second game. Okay, now let's back to the video. This wind style vacuum bullets what you see right now, I think it's perfect example of this jutsu. The number of the attacks what Temari use, it's almost impossible to dodge, what makes this jutsu perfect. The next wind style jutsu is a ground jutsu what I call tornado jutsu. This jutsu actually have 2 meanings. First thing, the highest chasing rate, and the second thing is when it hits your opponent, it's actually threw him up. As you can see, this jutsu is not that fast as the previous one, but it still come quite handy because first things, it's leave your opponent quite open, and second thing, it's do have some damage. As you can see, the numbers and sizes of this jutsu can be different. Like Hanzo, you can throw this jutsu at your opponent. It's do more damage, but it's actually quite easy to dodge. This can be a really small tornado, like ones what Toby used. This is fun. Okay, one more small thing. I do think what animation to every jutsu is important. Like look at the Conan tornado. It's actually made of paper. And look up to the Lita jutsu. Is actually look a small tornado with leaves. I mean that would be cool to have, don't it? Now this is a really important part. I do think what we need in this game a wind style tornado what will protect you from behind, from sides and from front. And the perfect example of this jutsu is actually the Hyuga clan rotation technique. I mean, yeah, it looks blue now, but if you change it to something white or less blue, it's be look like exactly a wind style technique. And of course, in many cases, the animation what I show you right now from a game, we have to change only one thing. The first, this tornado gonna make it by breathing, like I shown a picture previously, not by taijutsu or actually rotation. As expiration we can look at Temari tailed or Temari special awakening jutsu. It's wind style basically what protect you from ninjutsu and shurikens and from long range attacks. I wasn't sure about this in the first place, but yeah, I put the mighty push here in this category of jutsu. But if you wanna see exploration for what I'm saying, the perfect size of defending tornado is actually being demonstrated in a Conan Ultimate Jutsu. The next ninjutsu for wind style, I call it wind style barrage or wind style smoke barrage. The many Storm characters actually use something like this, so I decided to put it in this video. The purpose of this jutsu is like a fire style fire barrage. It's to create a defense between you and opponent and his chakra dashes or his ninjutsu. The main flaw of this jutsu it is rage. Except for Hanzo special awakening jutsu, the other examples of this technique it's really short in rage. But this jutsu does give you opportunity to poison your opponents or give them bad stats. The final jutsu for the wind style, I call it the close range wind hit. This jutsu have one main purpose: to get close to your opponent and hit him with a powerful strike. The high speed of this jutsu and the middle range of attacks give it a perfect use in a close combat. Now to the lightning element. On my personal opinion, this is the hardest element to use in combat. Lightning element is weak against wind and fire elements, but strong against earth element and water element, and can be combined with water and fire elements. Now to the first jutsu of the lightning element. I call it lightning strike. It's actually a close range attack. You create an electrical charge and then touch your opponent. This is stun him for a short time and cause some damage. When this attack ends, your opponent is actually dropped down. Now let's make it clear. When I say stun your opponent, I mean the same effect what you caused on your opponent when you threw an electric kunai at him. Electric kunai is a special item what you can get from a shop in a story mode. Now to the jutsu. As you may see right now, I pick Raikage as the first place because I think his tilt and his grab is perfectly illustrating what I try to say by close range attack. Many ninja in this game actually, before they use lightning strike, come close to the opponent actually by dashing at him. This gives them an opportunity to use this jutsu. Let's look closely to the lariat. This ability looked like lightning strike and was used by Raikage and his brother B. But they use a strong physical punch in the end of this ability to push away their opponents. Now we should look to the one important glitch. When little Kakashi uses his Chidori, it actually comes so fast, nobody can block it or even dodge it in time. The right execution of this ability we can see in adult Kakashi, or Kakashi from part 1. My point is, even if jutsu have low damage, it should take 1 or 2 seconds to prepare the user with jutsu, or it can be easily abused by spammers. Now to the next lightning style user. His variation of Chidori is almost infinite. I'm talking about Sasuke. He learned this jutsu in part 1, and since then he improved speed, power, and even size. The variation of this technique is really impressive. But this jutsu can be large minus. First thing, it's really hard to execute this jutsu if your opponent far away. Second thing, when you run to your opponent in the mid-range, it's actually quite risky because he can actually jump over it or dodge, and you leave yourself quite open. To somehow cut the distance and get close to the opponent, Sasuke Taka, what doesn't have long range abilities, use his charging Chidori through his blade, and when he can run the half of the map to the opponent and deal some large distance damage. But the charging of this jutsu is almost 3 seconds. The last ability of Sasuke Taka, what looks like a lightning strike, is a Chidori stream what he cast in the air. It's actually a stun ability. After this he used his blade, so I actually put it here. Sasuke was so skilled in this Chidori technique, that when he get Orochimaru Curse Chakra, he was be able to cast a black lightning Chidori. But, as you may see from picture of the beginning, I was inspiring of lightning strike from Kakashi Ultimate Jutsu from part 1. Is actually double Chidori or a double lightning blade. It actually makes perfect sense because if you need throw over the electric charge from your opponent, you actually need 2 hands. The second lightning style ability is a lightning stream or Chidori stream. You may see what is it really close range ability and attack. I decide to make so because I think what earth and the ground is really bad conduit to the electric charge. This ability, of course, make your opponent stunned for a long time and make him fall off. You can see the closest range of this ability by Darwin grab. And of course, as inspiration for this jutsu, I was looking at Sasuke Kirin tilt. It's actually perfectly illustration what I said before. Now to the question if Earth is a bad electric charge conduct. What is a good electric charge conduct? It's actually a water. So what's happening to the electric jutsu if it's be performed on water? The answer is very simple. It becomes stronger, very stronger. Like with Chidori stream jutsu or lightning stream jutsu, if it's be performing on water, can hit targets from behind and from the sides, or can hit a group of enemies. Now, as inspiration for this jutsu, I can only see one ability. It is ninjutsu from Sasuke Kirin Awakening, when he used his black Chidori on small areas. The next jutsu of the lightning style is actually look really similar to the Chidori stream, but it's actually one electric charge what follows the enemy from a long distance. Unfortunately for me, there is no character in this game or in previous ones who would use something jutsu like this. So, in case to do something, you can just picture what there is no Sasuke or anyone else who run to the target with this jutsu. Just imagine what you're standing still when this jutsu hits your opponent. Just like in case of previous jutsu, when you execute this jutsu on water, it becomes stronger. In this case, the target will be hit instantly. Lucky to me, in this case we actually have some lightning style users what can perform jutsu like this. Like a Tenten when he used her awakening, she can actually use the charge shuriken button combination to perform a lightning on the opponent. It's actually very effective against someone what guarding on standing still. In same way it's happening with Sasuke Kirin. Actually, when he used his ultimate jutsu, the several lightnings hits his opponent and stun him for a long time. The next jutsu of the lightning style, it's actually a multiple long range attack. What I call it lightning knives. This lightning style jutsu was executed by many characters and their awakenings. Okay, now the one important point. I do believe what every lightning style jutsu should be performed or executed by hands. And by this I mean it's not a breathing techniques. These techniques was perfectly executed in Raikage's awakening and Sasuke MES awakening or any other Sasuke Susanoo awakenings. These jutsu have a small damage, but it's actually created to stun your opponent or to counterattack a long range or large ninjutsu. As you may notice, this jutsu is a charge shurikens, so actually in this kind of execution they just can't block or counter a large ninjutsu. Oh yeah, I put Sasuke Taka tilt here just because it looks like this ability. The perfect execution of this ability I see in a Darwin male ninjutsu. It's actually not a lightning style, it's actually a Keke Genkai of the Storm style. And now we came to the final, most strong and most beautiful lightning style jutsu. I call it Lightning Beast. This jutsu was executed only 3 times, 2 times in Daruin Ultimate Jutsu and Daruin Special Awakening. It's actually his special lightning style jutsu, Black Mantra. But as you may see on a picture of the beginning, I actually was inspiring for this jutsu by Kakashi charging ninjutsu. There is one special thing about his charge ninjutsu, what I wanna see in this jutsu later. It's actually when connected to your opponent, it sends him up, what leave him wide open to the next combination. I'm actually put Special Awakening Kakashi's ninjutsu in this category too, because it's a long range lightning style attack. The 4 element what I gonna showcase in this video is Earth. Earth is a really special element to me, because it's allow you to control area around you and use a special attacks what can protect you or truly surprise your opponent. Earth element is weak against lightning and wind element, but strong against water style and fire style elements. I see only one combination with this earth style element, is wind style. Oh, I totally forgot about this thing. When I say combination, I doesn't mean bloodline limit ninjutsu. I mean when this ability would be used with another style, what can be combined with it. They can actually make stronger each other. The next 3 jutsu what I gonna showcase, it actually can be performed only on Earth. The first Earth style jutsu what I gonna speak about is the wall jutsu. It's actually pretty simple jutsu for someone to use, but it's have 2 great purposes. The first, it's perfect defense against anything, even tailed beast bomb. And second purpose is to send up flying your opponent. The second Earth style jutsu what I wanna suggest is actually Rising Earth Plate. Like the previous jutsu of the wall, this jutsu is defending one. But unlikely wall jutsu is actually create small plate and send you up, what give you upper ground advantage. Okay, this jutsu wasn't used in a game before, but I wanna actually create it from nothing. So let's, for example, take animation like Hokage used in his Special Awakening Ground Wall Jutsu, and mixed this animation with Yamato's down hit combo, what I showed just now, or with Yamato Special Awakening, or his grab jutsu, what actually look almost similar what I suggesting. But as a closest execution of this jutsu I see in Hiroshi's tilt, he actually creates something like a pillar or plate of earth, but he actually used his lava bloodline limit ninjutsu. So let's just take away the fire from this earth style element, and you'll be seeing what I am saying about. The third jutsu what I wanna talk about is, I call it Earth Eruption Jutsu. As you may guess, this jutsu, just like a fire style Dragon Flame Ball, can follow you only on the ground. There is no jutsu in this game yet what can work in this way what I'm showcasing in a picture before. I'm actually suggest that this jutsu, when it connects with your opponent, should send him up to the sky and leave him on guard, as like any jutsu what should perform on ground. But what we do have, it's a plenty of animation to this jutsu. Right now I'm talking about something like Gaara Part 1 from Chunin exam used in his ninjutsu. Is a middle range ninjutsu where Gaara used his magnet control style to control sand. It's really hard to call an earth style element jutsu. So let's see some other execution of this ability. The next example is actually Kabuto Tilt. Kabuto's tilt is not really an earth style element ninjutsu. It's actually a transportation ninjutsu. Well, I think so. But when you're far away from your opponent, the shockwave of this ninjutsu, it truly looks like an earth style element. The most perfect execution of this earth style ninjutsu I see in an instant awakening tilt of Tenten. I do believe that this is a perfect rage and speed execution of this ninjutsu. I do made my own vision of this ninjutsu by combining an ultimate of Tsuchikage and ninjutsu of Sakura. Now I gonna talk about some earth-style ninjutsu what actually does not require a ground beneath you. And this jutsu I call it earth-style punch. You can see something like this be executed in Tsuchikage's grab. But let's see some other example what can be found in Stone 3. You can see something like this being executed in ninjutsu of Sakura, Cherry Bomb have clashed, or ninjutsu of Tsunabe, Heaven Kick of Pain, but they're actually too messy for this jutsu. The perfect execution of this earth-style close-range ninjutsu I see in a Four Tails Jinchuriki execution, Roshi. His grab is perfectly sensible for this jutsu. Next earth-style ninjutsu what does not require a ground beneath you, as I call it, Rain of Rocks. The true master of this jutsu is Tsuchikage Onoki. He actually so skilled in this jutsu that he used it as a tilt and as regular ninjutsu. But as you can see on a video, it still requires a ground beneath him. And as I suggest later on, the perfect execution of this long-range ninjutsu I see in, again, Four Tails Jinchuriki Roshi ninjutsu. Basically, what I wanna say is all the CC2 have to do is cut off the fire from his jutsu, and now we should have a perfect Rain of Frogs ninjutsu. The last earth-style ninjutsu, as I suggest, what does not need an earth beneath you, is Earth Golem ninjutsu. There's actually two persons in this game who can use this earth-style jutsu. And because we doesn't have Erdokages in this game, the only person that I can think about what can use this jutsu is Akatsuchi. Earth Golem is a middle range ninjutsu what can hit your opponent far away from you. And now to the final, most powerful Earth-style jutsu, the Great Earth Dragon. I still can't truly decide should this jutsu be performed only on ground or should be performed without a ground at all. But I do see the perfect execution of this ability in the male ninjutsu of the Gara from part 2. In my eyes, this jutsu does look like a giant earthworm. And now, to the last, but not least, because it's my favorite, the water style element. Water is weak against earth and lightning elements, but strong against fire and wind elements, and it can be combined with lightning element. And the first ninjutsu of the water style what I gonna showcase is water style water wall, or as I call it, a water style water wave. This water style technique was mastered and perfectly executed by the master of the water style ninjutsu, the second Hokage Tabirama. The size of this ninjutsu is perfectly fitting to the middle range attacks, and his successor, the third Hokage Sarutobi, is actually using this jutsu perfectly too. Is his special awakening ninjutsu. It's basically not long-range ninjutsu, but I think it can be performed even without water. To perform this water style technique, the user can concentrate his chakra in a chest area and then use his nature element water to create this special ninjutsu. Or, like Tenten, use some weapon to perform it. My personal opinion about this is making no sense at all. Because first thing, it need be a really special weapon to perform nature on chakra what you concentrate at sword on in some special weapon. But we do see execution of this jutsu from weapon in hands of Sugetsu and Kisame stilts. It's actually not long range again, is even a close range ninjutsu. But I think because they use a weapon, they cannot really concentrate a much of chakra to create some special big ninjutsu. Second water style ninjutsu what I wanted to suggest is water style underwater explosion. As you may guess, this ninjutsu, just like earth style earth eruption ninjutsu, can be performed only on water. To see what I'm talking about, or see the difference between water area and earth area, you can actually use Kabuto tilts again, what called a perfect animation to this ninjutsu. On my personal opinion, this jutsu must have great chasing ability. As you can see in execution of the third Mizukage. But he actually adding something to this ninjutsu. So it is not a water style, it's just combination of water style with some bloodline limit ninjutsu. But we can see animation to this jutsu in his awakening tilt. Many characters in this game what can use water style, in their tilts can use something jutsu like this. I'm talking right now about Sugetsu awakening tilt and Kisame usual tilt. But here once again, these characters use their swords to help them concentrate the water. There is no perfect execution of this jutsu in a Storm 3 or in a Storm 2. But I'm not give up this easily. I'm actually make a perfect visual execution of this jutsu, combining the second Hokage ultimate jutsu and Sakura Haruno ninjutsu on water. This actually gives us a perfect looking what it can be looks like in the next Storm games. Next water style ninjutsu what I wanted to showcase is actually a variation of the previous ninjutsu, underwater explosion. The main difference between this jutsu, I do see this variation hit your opponent instantly. Oh, don't be worried, it's do take time to prepare this jutsu, and it's do make some signal about what location you use to use this jutsu. So it's become quite easy to dodge, but purpose of this jutsu is to hit opponent who decide to use a guarding or just stay in the water unpurposely. The next water style ninjutsu what I gonna show is actually one of my favorites ninjutsu from all the game. It is a water shield ninjutsu. This water style ninjutsu, as you may guess, serve to protect user from any kind of damage, but it's do pretty effective against long range ninjutsu, because it do take time to prepare this jutsu. Each jutsu being perfectly executed in hands of third Mizukage and second Hokage. But these jutsu have a small size comparing to the Earth-Wall ninjutsu, so it's actually not effective against attacks from the side. The next water style ninjutsu what I gonna to showcase is actually one of my favorites ninjutsu in the whole game. It's called Azure Dragon. This jutsu was executed only once in a game, but it do have a purpose. The first thing, it's one from many close range water style ability. And second, I do think what this ninjutsu should not require any water to perform it. So it's become quite useful. The second close range water style ninjutsu what I gonna showcase, I call it water surf ninjutsu. It was executed 2 times, and now I gonna speak about the smallest one, executed by Darwin. I do believe what this execution does not require any water to use. But this jutsu does help you cut a large distance in a short time without being hit. The perfect big execution of this jutsu, what I do perform to use on water, come from second Hokage. Is actually his male shield, but let's just imagine what this is a ninjutsu. This jutsu become quite handy against a long range multiple hits, because in my version of execution this jutsu it does protect the user from front hits. The next water style ninjutsu does not require water to use it, is as I call it water rain ninjutsu. This ninjutsu does take a multiple hits, but I see only possible execution of this jutsu in a third Mizukage awakening when he turn in a three-tailed beast and use his shurikens and charge shurikens. Or in Kaisame awakening when he too used charge shurikens or simple shurikens. The bad example of execution this ability I see in a firm Mizukage tilt and the special awakening of the second Hokage. Just think about it does make no sense. to perform this weak in their execution ninjutsu, they actually create a cloud and only then make this rain happen. It does take twice as more time when executing this jutsu simply. The next water style ninjutsu what I wanted to talk about is one of the most popular water style ninjutsu ever. Is a water style water dragon ninjutsu. I still can't truly decide should this jutsu be performed only on water or you can use it without it. Okay, let's talk about the first execution of this jutsu in the hands of Suigetsu. His jutsu is actually not that strong, but I do take a point to him because he in his awakening can use this jutsu by only one hand. The perfect size of this ninjutsu I see in execution of Zabuza. He still uses a water beneath him to create a large water-style water dragon ninjutsu. But his dragon jutsu can have a great chasing ability and hit even a running away opponent. But we do see execution of this jutsu without water in a special awakening of Firm Mizukage. Oh, and of course the most powerful user of this jutsu is still a Zabuza, because in his awakening, oh god, he can use a free water style giant dragon jutsu almost instantly, and they actually have a really slow time to recharge. In his awakening, maximum of water dragons what you can use combined to the what he can use in a ninjutsu, it's 12 dragons. This is just insane. And of course, the final water style jutsu is a water style shock bomb jutsu. This jutsu is long range water style ninjutsu what can be performed, on my opinion, only on water. Actually is all I can tell about this jutsu. So, to the time this video ends, I actually wanna thank the Spy M09 to encouraging me to make this video about elemental ninjutsu. Thank you, dude. I think your suggestion series is awesome. Please continue. I wanna see a next suggestion series about the Storm 5 or some other games. I made this video just because I like talking about abilities or super abilities I usually call it. Thank you for watching. That's it. Bye.